Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lacy Jane. If you are new here today, I welcome you with open arms, and if you are returning, I am so thankful for your presence here today. If you have kept up with me, then you know that I have been a little bit offline lately just because I had a death in my family, so I had to kind of just like take a step back and deal with what was coming up for me. And honestly, here lately, I've been a little bit low. Lately, what it has been looking like is me reflecting on generational trauma. And recently, I have just learned like a little bit more about my family and some of the things that have kind of been passed down through generations to me. And I think that once you start to kind of dig into some of the trauma that maybe your family has carried and passed down for generations, then it starts to like shed some light on yourself, and you start to recognize your own like habits and patterns and your own trauma that you've been carrying. So it kind of like opens this box of like, wow, okay, so this isn't something that I'm just carrying. Like, I didn't just get this from nowhere. Like, I have a reason behind why I'm carrying this. But really what I wanted to share with you guys is something that actually happened to me in a breathwork session just a few nights ago. And I am a huge fan of breathwork. I love like the long series kind of breathwork sessions, because every single time that I do a breathwork session, I go into it and something like life-altering and super healing happens to me. And what's awesome and what I really love about it is that I'll go into it and I'll have no idea what's going to happen to me, but I know that something really great is going to come out of it. So the other night I set up this breathwork session, and basically before I went into this session, I set the intention that I wanted to release anxiety, because for me my anxiety has been top tier lately. Like, I've been carrying just a crazy amount of anxiety. So I was like, okay, so I want to go into it and release anxiety. But the anxiety that I've been having like really lately has been like this existential anxiety, which has been like, what am I doing with my life? Am I living up to my own expectations? Am I really like living what is life? Like that is the kind of anxiety that I've been carrying. So I've been like, okay, Lacy, like I need to try to release this. And I try to do that every single time that I go into a breathwork session. Like, I try to go in and I set an intention for what it is that I actually want to release. So I went in and, I set my bed up, I lit some incense, I got some lights going. I tried to really set the mood for the breathwork session. And then I went in and I started breathing, and had a little bit of resistance, as we all do when we start breath work, because our ego was like, no, I don't want to do this. And I physically was like, God, I literally do not want to do this right now. But I made a promise to myself that I'm going to be healing. I'm going to be facing things head on. So we're going to push through, we're going to get through, and we're going to heal. And so after probably like 15 minutes or so, my body started to feel that like typical like breathwork feeling that you feel, that like staticky kind of sensation. And I started to feel like the waves of emotions kind of flowing through my body. And then the emotions started to like physically kind of manifest themselves. And when I say that they physically manifested, I started to uncontrollably, like straight up ugly cry. Like, I was like crying just like audibly. Like, my neighbors probably were like, is everything okay over there? Then something really interesting that has never actually happened to me before started to happen. And it's really hard to explain, so I hope that I can explain it correctly. But what happened next is I started to visualize my grandparents, my ancestors, every light being and spirit kind of in the room surrounding me. And they are all kind of surrounding me and like watching me over the bed as I was like just like moving and crying and screaming and feeling everything happening to me. Like, I was feeling all of these emotions kind of leave my body. And the only way that I can describe it is I felt the emotion of pure love. Like, it was basically just like pure love for me, pure love for the healing process, and just like this abundance of support and love kind of backing me up as I was going through this. And then I started to hear some messages that they were starting to send me. And what I immediately heard right there was, you think, Lacy, that you're releasing this existential anxiety, but really what you're releasing is who you thought that you had to be. And then I immediately, as that message started to sink in, I started to have this vision of every woman in my lineage and my ancestry. I started to envision them all, and I started to envision them all and kind of feel the trauma that they carried with them and the trauma behind that saying of, you know, who they thought that they had to be. And for me, that was just a really powerful vision to kind of just feel and let sink in. It's like this vision and this feeling of the trauma that's been carried for lifetimes and the trauma that has been manifesting through me all of my life, of feeling like there is someone that I have to be. And that was just really healing in itself. And then as I was going through this vision and as I was feeling all of these things, all of these emotions that were kind of coming up, and as I was physically kind of doing this healing, they said to me, everything that has happened has led to you. Everything that you have gone through, everything that they have gone through, everything has led to this moment. And the next really strange sensation that I started to feel was I started to, for the first time ever in my life, because I don't think I have ever felt this feeling before, I felt the most divine and feminine and beautiful and loved and supported, like more than I ever have in my entire life. And it's ironic because I'm like sitting there like scream crying. Liquid is coming from every orifice in my face. And in that moment, I felt just the most divinely beautiful. And not only beautiful, but I felt just incredibly loved. I felt like I had a support system. And I also realized in that moment that I was doing this healing work for me, but I was also doing this healing work for them. And by healing myself, I was healing for them. I was healing the lineage. I was healing everyone that comes after me. I was healing everyone that was before me. And that was just, that was a lot. That was a lot for me to sit there and kind of go through at 8 o'clock on a Monday night. And I really wanted to share this, this healing story with you guys because I personally have struggled a lot in my life with feeling supported and with feeling like I have a lot of support because, you know, I come from a family that is very closed off and we don't really talk about a lot of things. We kind of push things under the rug. I don't really know a whole lot about my family. And so I know that that feeling, a lot of people can resonate with that just because when you don't have a lot of physical support here, it's hard to envision that you have a lot of spiritual support. Like you have support and divine love behind you. It's easy to like think like, yeah, I have, you know, people, my ancestors, I have, you know, God, whatever I believe in supporting me, but it's really hard to actually feel that and envision that and embody that when you don't have this physically in the spirit, in the physical realm. Me just doing this breathwork session, even though I still don't know a whole lot about my family, my lineage, I felt like I learned a lot by opening the line of communication. And what I really want to stress to you guys is that even though you may feel like you don't have any family or any support here in this physical realm, and you may not have anyone in the spiritual realm that's looking after you either, I promise you that there are divine, powerful, loving forces that are behind you 24/7 that only want you to succeed, that only want you to feel loved, that only want you to know that you're supported and cherished and important and valuable to this world. And whether you know their names or not, whether you know their faces or not, whether you know the trauma that you've carried or they've carried or not, every single thing has led here to you. And when you heal yourself, you're healing all of that. I promise you that you are not alone. Now, I actually made another video about generational trauma that I've been trying to post for like a month now. I've been trying to like record it for like a month now, but after this whole experience, I feel like now is the perfect time for me to talk a little bit more about it because I have another video that I went a little bit more in detail. Just for some reason, I haven't been able to post it, and now feels like the right time. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, then please leave me a little comment. And if you are not subscribed, I would love it if you would do so, or maybe share this video with a friend that you feel like could resonate with this message that I've shared with you today. And I will see you guys again soon. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. They all love you. I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.